This is my friend, Madison Dawson. She's one of the happiest, kindest, and friendliest people that I've ever met. She was my closest friend my freshman year of high school, and we were actually volleyball teammates together. Unfortunately, Maddie injured her knee the season before her senior year and had to quit to prevent further injuring herself. But she didn't let this weigh her down and was still her happy, bubbly self and continued to help the team. Or so we thought. Maddie commits suicide on August 25th, 2015, and our small town still isn't the same 4 years later. According to the Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, suicide is the second leading cause of death for people aged 15 to 24, right after car accidents. Everyone in this room either fits into this category or has someone that they love that fits into this category. These are our friends and our family dying a preventable death. I myself have lost someone close to me, and I have also struggled with depression and suicidal thoughts, so this is a problem that weighs heavily on my heart. I'm going to share some ways that you can help save your friends and family, but first, let's look at some of the causes. Not everyone who is suffering from depression and suicidal thoughts shows that they're hurting. Chester Bennington, lead singer of Linkin Park, commits suicide in 2017. His widow said, "This is not a time where any of our family expected this to happen, which is terrifying. We thought everything was okay." Kate Spade, creator of Kate Spade New York, commits suicide in 2018. Her good friend Josie recalls, "The Kate I knew was always with a smile." So why are these seemingly happy people committing suicide? They seem okay. What could drive them to taking their own lives? Well, according to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, here are some causes. They could be using suicide as a cry for help. These people usually don't plan on success, but they don't know how else to ask for help. They could have a sense of burden, that they feel like they weigh their loved ones down and that they only drag them down. They could have emotional pain, like depression, anxiety, another mental illness, or it could have had a significant loss in their life, like the loss of a family member, a friend, or even a job. They could have a desire to escape their current situation. These people could be getting humiliated, they could be harassed, or even bullied. They could have a problematic social world. They feel like they can't fix their relationships in their life, and people wouldn't care anyway. They could have also been recently exposed to suicide from a family member, friend, or even a celebrity. Or they could have an overwhelming sense of hopelessness, that things will never get better, so why should they even try? But you can help though. According to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, 85 to 95% of people who live through a suicide attempt go on to engage in life. That means that if you help one person, one time, you've helped them for the rest of their lives. So now that you know some of the causes, here are some signs you should look for. Excessive sadness or moodiness. This could be extreme mood swings, or they could be temperamental. They could be having sleep problems, like trouble sleeping, staying asleep, or excessive sleeping. They could have sudden calmness. This usually means that they've made a plan to commit suicide and they're calm with their decision. They could have changes in their personality or appearance. They could be talking or moving with an unusual speed or slowness. They could be withdrawing from their normal activities. They could be making preparations like writing letters or giving away personal objects. Or they could be making threats. These threats can be empty, but they should always be treated like a real threat. We didn't realize at the time, but we saw some of these signs in Maddie. After her death, one of my friends said that she had seen Maddie alone crying. She also started withdrawing from helping the team and started staying home more. She also sent goodbye texts to her family and friends, saying things like, "I love you, I'm sorry I have to do this, I hope you do good in life." We saw excessive sadness, withdrawal, and making preparations, but we didn't know that we needed to reach out and make sure she was okay. So now that you know some of the signs, here's the most important way that you can help. Talk to them. Contrary to popular belief, this doesn't put the idea in their head, and they're actually grateful that you brought this conversation to the table. Just remember that opening up about depression and suicidal thoughts can be really frustrating for someone. They feel like you won't understand them, and that they're letting go of a deep secret that's always been a part of them. But just be patient, because this is the most important thing you can do. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention tells us how to start this conversation. First, you should speak privately. This should be a one-on-one conversation. 2, listen to them. Let them tell their story and how they're feeling. Be calm, cool, and collected, and don't rush into judgments. 3, remind them that you care. Most people will only open up about these suicidal thoughts if they feel like you actually care about them. 4, ask them directly if they're contemplating suicide. If given the chance, they probably won't bring up these suicidal thoughts. So you need to be direct to get an answer. 5, encourage them to seek treatment or to see a therapist. And then finally, avoid advice minimizing their problems or debating the value of life. Advice can seem like the right thing to do, but it can be misconstrued and it might not work for them. Don't minimize their problems, because what could be just a small problem for you could be earth-shattering to someone else. And don't debate the value of life, because they could feel like you're just trying to find excuses for them to stay alive. Barbara Kingsolver, author of The Bean Trees, explains why it's important to listen to our loved ones and not minimize their problems. There's no point treating a depressed person as though she were just sad, saying, "There now, hang on, you'll get over it." Sadness is more or less like a head cold. With patience, it passes. Depression is like cancer. Just remember that your loved one is in intense pain, and they want to be okay just as much as you want them to be okay. They just don't know how to do that. These people are talking to you for a reason, so remember to be in an understanding mode. Don't judge them or try to fix things with a quick solution that won't work in the end, and be there for them every step of the way. In conclusion, I want you to do one thing. Check on your friends. Suicide can seem to come out of nowhere, but we can reduce its effects by checking in with our family and our friends and making sure they're okay. If anything sticks with you today and reminds you to check on your friends and family, do it for Maddie.